So it's hard to say what it translates into, but I do believe the Indian voter, basis my travels, which I've now done all the southern states in Gujarat, Madhya Pradesh, and Maharashtra, and I do find that people are capable of holding more than one thought at the same time. So a lot of people still rate Modi as their favorite political brand. And then they add a but. So, for example, in Maharashtra, I met people who said, सेंटर में मोदी जी बहुत अच्छी है इंडिया के लिए, लेकिन यहाँ थोड़ा उद्धव को थोड़ा जो हुआ बुरा हुआ. सो इट देयर इज. और मध्य प्रदेश, मोदी जी ब्रांड हमारे फेवरेट है, लेकिन मामा जी के साथ द मार्जिनलाइजेशन ऑफ शिवराज सिंह चौहान वी डोंट लाइक. Right? So people are able to, the voter, the worker of the BJP, they're able to see both things simultaneously. There's no anti-Modi sentiment, but there is some caveating, there is some qualifying. That's what I pick up.
No, you're absolutely right. In fact, there isn't anti-Modi, nor is there akrosh. There may be voices of dissatisfaction that are being expressed much more than in the last election, which I suppose is inevitable at the end of 10 years. But there is no akrosh, there is no anger, and nor is Modi unpopular. So if you had an akrosh...
No, in fact, he's very popular, and there is no popular anger against him.
That's right. Absolutely, that is correct. I also think. Therefore, I would say, while all these things, not to run away with your reading, कि भाई majority figure से नीचे आने वाला है, which many people tend to do.
I'm not saying that. I am not saying that. I am just saying that there is a sense that Modi ji pasand hai, lekin kuch cheezein badal sakti hain. Some things could have been different. Shivraj could have been given his due. I even met somebody in Madhya Pradesh who had a Mandir flag at his stall, but he said, Mandir ab ho gaya. Brand Modi mera favorite hai, par abhi naukriyon ke bare mein baat kare Modi ji. So the voter is able to hold 2 or 3 thoughts together.
No, and the expectation from Modi in the third term, if he makes it, is much more. It's not that bahut acha kiya and we're happy. Okay, no, we expect A, B, C, D more to happen, and certainly jobs are on top of that list.
Let me play for you a statement from a bazaar in Thane in Maharashtra, where I actually met somebody who explained this dichotomy. And, actually, it's very interesting when voters say Modi at the center is okay. This is not a state election. All the states are also fighting national elections. But there's a certain degree of localization that is entering pockets of this election. While still liking Modi, they're almost treating their states as kind of regionally separate. So I'll just, I don't know if it's ready. I'll wait for my producers to tell me when it's ready. But let me ask you in the meantime, when you say that let's not overread Neerja into this, what is your sense of what's shifted apart from the Takkar? The Takkar is one thing. What else? The turnout? Has the turnout surprised you?
Yes, turnout consistently in the first 3 rounds, yes, has surprised me. Though you remember, traditionally, when we read elections in the past, if there was not an increase in turnout increase meant change. And if it was lower, the voter percentage, it normally helped the incumbent. Because people were, okay, apathetic, but they still wanted continuity. So is that what we are seeing? Because why we are talking so much about turnout is we thought the Modi wave is continuing. It is going to the next level. And if so large number of people are going to come out and vote for him, nobody thought of a wave for the opposition. Wave, that they will have people going for them in a big ways is not what you and I thought of. So how you read that voter turnout and the slump in the voter turnout, I think partly because, their own worker and the RSS thought it's a done deal, RSS for different reasons, that they've not come out in that way. And even possibly supporters felt, ho to raha hai, why go out in this heat? That could also be a reason. And certainly this is a reality that those who were for the other side, the opposition, have come out in large numbers to vote.
there are still 4 phases to go for this election. The Prime Minister has pivoted to emotive issues, but Rahul Gandhi is also repeatedly bringing caste. He started with a Jitni Abadi Utna Haq. Then I think there was a feeling that that's a problematic slogan. Caste has emerged as a kind of epicenter of this election discourse, where otherwise there's a sense that there's no one issue that defines this election. And it's a very muddied conversation because everybody is actually either overstating or misquoting or denying the past, so how do you see this? Because caste census or the calls for a caste census did not work for the opposition in the assembly elections. Do you find the opposition's focus on caste and quotas to be something that's working? And do you find the BJP rhetoric that is repeatedly saying कि ये OBC quota kam kar denge, do you find that this is something that is working?
Look, as far as the caste quota, caste was much more of a factor in this election, or in every election it's a factor. But you saw, you're absolutely right, in certain places you saw Modi versus local. You know what the local factor? If the local could be strong leader or a leader disliked of the BJP, or a Rajput versus Jat fight, or these things in the past 2 elections, they were subsumed by the Modi wave. This election, they are not being subsumed by the Modi wave. In many places, some places they are, but in many places they are coming to the fore that much more. And caste, yes, but where the caste is having an impact is with the section of the Dalits that I have seen. Rajasthan, UP, and Maharashtra, that word has gone to...
Explain that, because Dalits in great numbers in the past elections have voted in the Hindi-speaking states for Modi, for the BJP.
That's correct. So is a section now worried, and I found them, that could the constitution be changed? Could our Arakshan and reservation go? So that rhetoric of the Congress has reached the village level.
So you're saying when the Congress carries the constitution, Rahul Gandhi carries a copy of the constitution now to rallies, we have those pictures also. Earlier it felt like this was a very esoteric debate around democracy. You're saying coupled with the debate around quotas, it's having some resonance.
Yeah, quota, as far as caste census is concerned, I haven't seen any resonance of that. Caste census in its place, I haven't been to Bihar, so I don't know what the story is there. But certainly the constitution is equal to what the message that Dalit has got, that my reservation may go. And the Prime Minister has tried to turn it around and say to the OBCs and SC/STs that they are going to take your quota away and give it to their favored constituency, the Muslim. They have done this in Karnataka, Andhra, and they will do it nationally. Of course, the party has denied this.
When you say that the Congress's rhetoric is working, basis, coupling the constitution with creating this narrative that something could be done to change the quotas, I'm saying, what about the BJP's narrative? They're also attempting a kind of repeated narrative that the OBC quotas are going to be reduced and be prioritized for the Muslim community. How is that going down on the ground?
That I don't know the answer how it's gone down on the ground, but as I said, Barkha, when you talk like that, kuch to cheete padte hain na iske bare mein. I was giving the example of, for instance, the inheritance tax, which was a casual remark made by Sam Pitroda. And the BJP again went to town on it. And I know of younger people who were asking their parents, is this likely to happen? That half the inheritance can go. So somewhere you sow a doubt, na? So I don't know on the ground how much impact Prime Minister saying this repeatedly and Amit Shah saying it repeatedly. But kuch to kahin na kahin chipakta hai na.